Now you know. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Talking Shop podcast. I am Josh from Grand Slam Cards in Rock Hill, along with Michael at Medium Rare Cards over on Instagram. It's Cobbs behind the scenes as usual. We are back on a normal podcast night, at least when we're recording this. So the last couple podcasts have been a little... what would you say? Off schedule.
That's okay. It happens.
Kind of back on schedule now. So we are here. We're ready to talk shop, talk about what's going on in the industry and at the shop. And Michael's going to give us the rundown on what to
Absolutely. Expect. So big show for you today. As Josh said, that we're getting back on schedule. We're going to start with the opening rip where Josh is going to recap what could probably be like a mini national. It's an enormous show in Nashville. I can't wait to hear about that. Then we're going to find out what's hitting the shelves at the shop this week. It's a light week sports-wise, but for TCG, it's a pretty big release week. We're going to jump behind the counter, talk about MLB playoffs, these first Stitch cards that are going to be in Topps Chrome update. And then we're going to talk a little basketball. That's not my forte, but certainly it's something that I think is relevant to the hobby. We've got a few listener questions, and including a question from me that I'm hoping Josh can help me out with. Ooh. And then cards from the vault or hits from the shop. And then, as usual, crazy stat of the week. But first, the opening rip. Josh, how was the Nashville show, man?
So it was good. It's been a while since I've been there. It's grown a ton since I've been there. It's a big show now. And for example, here's what they call it. The National.
Yes.
Because it's big. This, outside of the National, the biggest card show I've been to, because I don't go to the Dallas one or haven't been yet to that one or Atlanta or anywhere, but apparently 800 tables. That's what the guy told us when we were setting up. Beckett was there. Who were some of the other big groups? ComC was there. Whatnot was doing some free food, providing some free food there. I'm gonna feel bad because I'm gonna leave out some of the big guys that were there, and it's not on here. But yeah, I mean, Sports Card Investor was there. He was walking around and filming his stuff and talking to people. Yeah, all the big hobby shops from around the country, for the most part, were there, and it was a good time. So here's the thing with a 800 table card show.
Yikes, 800 tables.
You need a lot of customers, or else there's just not enough customers to go around for all the dealers. And it felt like the traffic was a little low. And again, I haven't been to the National since they've done it in this fairgrounds, this new monstrous building. And so I didn't know what to expect completely, but there was no doubt a ton of people came through, but it still felt like too much competition, too many dealers. And you feel lucky or fortunate when someone buys a card or two from your case. And then I think, like, why would they choose to buy a card from my case and not one of the other 800 cases here in the building? So when there's a huge building and then there's a second wing. And some people said, if they closed off that second wing and brought all those customers into the main area, then it gets a little more crowded, but I think everybody does a lot better. You take it maybe 800 tables down to 500 tables, still a really big show, but you can outgrow your show really quickly by saying, you know what, we did 500 tables. We do really good, great turnout. The dealers kill it. Next time we're going to open up the wing and do 800. Well, if you're still getting the same amount of customers through, it's really a detriment to the dealers. So that's my take on it. The rumblings from around everyone else was like, man, this is kind of a slower turnout. But I'm telling you, the hobby's alive and well. It only felt that way because there were just so many dealers spread out that the area was just so big. So we did well. The gentleman I went with did well. I didn't take a whole lot of stuff. It was kind of last minute. I'll go bring some stuff, hang out and set up. And so I've yet to do a show ever where I haven't made money. Make your table money back, cover your expenses, and make some money. So definitely pleased I went.
What was the biggest, so let me ask you this. Were you pinned to the table most of the time because you didn't have the team with you? Were you able to walk around a bit?
So I was pinned to the table mainly because I was really trying to not spend. And I know when I get out there and start, because I didn't bring very much stuff and traffic to me was really low because I was just so small compared to everyone else. I could have put a sheet over my showcases and spent a couple hours looking around. Yeah. So I did that for a little bit. I bought one really cool Brady card that I like. I don't have hits from the shop queued up, so I'll show off that Brady card that I got. We were back to back with Nash cards. And so, I got to spend a bunch of time talking to the guy, one of the employees there that works full time at Nash cards. And so we got along really good. And, I was able to turn around and just buy a case of cards off of them and just stuck it aside and bring it back to the shop, cause they were doing some show specials and some inventory I knew we were selling out of this weekend off the shelf. So I did, if you count that, I bought a good bit of stuff because I bought some sealed product for the store. But I didn't do much Brady shopping. I saw It's Cobble like this one, the Kaboom with the rock where he's going like this,
Yes.
I saw that one and I was like, ooh, I would really like to own that. But price tag was $1,000. And then one Brady Kaboom that I don't own that I really want to own. Guy was at $1,000 on that one, and the price was fair. It was just like, I need to get back to my table before I talk myself into buying this.
So traffic wise, the traffic you did see, the folks that were stopping at the tables, is it still just all football, or did you see it pick up for some other sort of sports?
I definitely sold, even me, the mix I sold was baseball, football, basketball, with football being just a little bit of the leader. I think football is just king right now. But again, if it's the right card at the right price, your basketball and baseball stuff will still sell well. I did take Garrett. I don't know, him and George watched the podcast. I took a bunch of cards of Garrett's and set them out there, and they're mostly soccer. And unfortunately, I didn't have much luck or much even many lookers at that. So
interesting.
The way they did the show, let's see if I show it on here. So on Thursday, they don't show it here, but on Thursday, the show ends at 6, and then they do a trade night that evening. So one of the one of the big card shops puts on a trade night in one of the wings. And so they close off the main area where all the tables are so that nothing gets stolen and customers can't come through and everyone can go home. And they do a big trade night. They did that Friday night and Saturday night because it's a 3-day show. So I didn't go to that. By the time we were done, we were ready to go get something to eat and go back to the hotel and crash. But I thought that was pretty cool. They did a trade night at the end of each night, and I'm sure there was a ton of stuff going on for that. And we didn't stay for Sunday because we had an 8-hour drive back that Saturday night.
So more importantly, you were in Nashville Music City, USA, known for some great food. Did you guys hunt for some Nashville food? Maybe
I didn't
some
think
Nashville
I didn't
hot
think we were going to
wings?
talk about this. So Friday, we just ate food there at the venue because they actually had some pretty good
Yeah.
concessions there. Saturday, it was no, I take that back. We got in Thursday. Friday night, we decided that would be our one night we are going to go out. And there's a steakhouse called Darfon's. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
I've had a lot of steak in my life.
Uh-oh.
This was the best steak I have ever eaten.
Darfon's.
It was, I had the filet mignon, and you could cut it, and I had it medium well. So that's not, some people are like, well, that's
so
not
you ruined it.
Yeah. And I always, hopefully they on the more of the medium side for sure.
Right.
I could cut it with a fork.
Oh yeah.
It was that tender. It was so good.
Shout out to Darfon's.
Darfon's. It
Nice.
was good. And funny story, they say it's an hour wait. And we've done this with my wife and kids. It's like, all right, we're not going to wait an hour. By the time we go to 6 different restaurants and it's all 30-minute waits, and then we end up getting to a place where we can eat, it's been an hour. So we're like, let's just get on the list and be patient. So we're like, oh, we needed some sticky notes and some pricing stuff up at Walgreens. So we just walked up the streets of Nashville to Walgreens, got our things that we needed. As we're walking back, there in the grass was a $20 bill. I never find money. So that paid for what, half of my steak? No, we just use it as a good tip.
Nice.
So,
well, good food, good cards. Would you go back? And if you do go back, would you bring an entourage? Is this entourage worthy?
Yes. So the next show, if you can see here, maybe I'll see if I can do it. So there's one in March, another in July, and then they do one in October. So I tentatively told the promoter I would like to do like 6 tables in March and really do it right. Bring up a crew. Yeah, for sure. That's probably the goal. So it's not as easy to just call up and say, I want 6 tables, set me up. I want them in a square, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't call the shots as easily as you think. And he might say, sorry, man, I'm already got everything booked. I can get you 2 or something like that. But we kind of put a bug in his ear that we were going to reach out and ask for some more tables next time. So stay tuned. We'll find out about that.
Well, on a more local level, there is one show this weekend. Well, actually, before I go into that, there was also the Hickory show. I didn't hear anything about the Hickory show. I saw a couple photos online. Did anybody mention anything to you about the Hickory show? And if you guys are listening to this, just drop it in the comments if you went to the Hickory show, if you couldn't make it the trip all the way to Nashville, made the Hickory show. Let us know how that was. Did you hear anything, Josh?
I didn't. I know a couple people that went to it, and I probably need to talk. I just haven't talked to them since I've been back. I am curious how that show. It's always a pretty good show. I had first show I ever did in Hickory, so it has a soft spot in my heart. I haven't done a Hickory show in 3 years, probably plus, and so we want to get back to that one here pretty soon. And then we're going to talk about the One Day Sunday show coming up in Rock Hill.
This weekend. Yeah, this weekend was we had 2 local shows, local-ish. About 45 minutes away from Charlotte is Salisbury, and so James is having a big show there. I think that one's at the mall. I think you've been to that one. I've set up at that one. That's usually a pretty good show. And there was supposed to be one in Rock Hill on Sunday, but Josh, you've got a little bit of news around that one.
Yeah, so I was notified by one of the guys here because we had set up at it. So they had let the guys that handle that stuff for me know that the show was going to be canceled kind of last minute, which is a little strange. I've never had that happen before. So it was going to be, I guess, at the newer American Legion building here in Rock Hill. Kind of, at least since I've owned the shop, first time of a notable show in Rock Hill, outside of our trade night at the gym. This was a one-day Sunday show at the American Legion, and it has been canceled and rumored to be maybe just postponed until January 2024, which is 3 or 4 months away. So I don't know anything other than that. The rumor is staffing issues was the reason. But we'll talk more about it as the day comes and goes. We'll get some news on it, probably some rumors, and maybe the next podcast we'll have something more definitive. But it was odd. For the first time I got that text message. I was like, that's interesting. I've never had a show get canceled that last minute.
Yeah. Well, hopefully things work out to where we do have another one in Rock Hill. The more the merrier there. We love our card night, but more shows in the area, the more activity for all the collectors and the dealers.
So I haven't told you this, so you can give me your opinion. So next card night, we really got to get one scheduled, and we've just had a hard time because everything's been so busy every weekend. Yeah. So obviously we're going to probably target November sometime, right? Because it's too late in October. We've had the thought submitted to us, what about Friday night?
I would love a Friday night.
Huh?
I would love a Friday night show.
Yeah. Everyone just got to thinking that it doesn't interfere with some of the Saturday football. And I was like, I think we've never done it on Friday because typically we would do trade night at the shop, and that's when we do Pokemon. Right. And Saturday's always been open. And so I would like to maybe in November, it would have to be either the 3rd, which is probably too soon, maybe the 17th. I think we should pencil in November 17th for the next card night. That's literally 1 month away. Gives us time to promote it. The next one that's like Thanksgiving Friday, right? That's Black Friday.
That would probably not be a very good turnout.
Right. So we'll pencil in the 17th if you're listening or watching for local Grand Slam card night at the gym. And we'll be more definitive here. How about in the next day or two? We can check with the wives, check with the employees, and see if we can do it. But tentatively schedule that in your calendars, everyone. November 17th.
You heard that here. November 17th, the next card night. More details pending. But let's talk about what's hitting the shelves at Grand Slam this week, Josh.
All right. So since the last podcast, we've had a few things released and hit the shelves. I don't know if we've talked about it. Topps Update 2023 baseball is on the shelves here. Gold Standard football came out Friday. Gold Standard's on the shelf. We've gotten a few random odds and ends fill-in products on the Magic the Gathering side. The Doctor Who collaboration took place.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that product is on the shelf now. It came out Friday, I believe, as well. So if you're a Magic the Gathering fan or a Doctor Who fan or a fan of both, we have that product on the shelf. Coming this week, I told you I have it pulled up here. So I'm not getting this, but I think it's wise for us to at least talk about it. The 23 Topps Chrome McDonald's All-American Basketball. I'm not getting it. I'm only not getting it because it did not do very well last year. So for us, we can spend that money elsewhere and take care of the customer better that way probably. But Wednesday, Topps Gilded Collection Baseball. That's a nice premium, higher-end baseball product. The same day, we have a lower-end product that we actually sell really well. People like it. Topps Pro Debut, 2023 Topps Pro Debut. That launches Wednesday. It's kind of a light week. Friday, there's not much on the sports side, but there is some stuff on the gaming side. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a booster product called The Age of Overlord. That launches Friday. We're a sanctioned store, so we can sell it Thursday. Hint, hint. So if you're in town Thursday and want some, we've got it. And then Pokemon has a Charizard EX Premium Collection box that comes out Friday. We will have that. And then it is that time once a quarter again. This is a huge time for us. The new Pokemon set. This one is Scarlet and Violet. Paradox Rift is the name of this set. And that Doesn't come out until November 3rd. We can start selling pre-release tournaments or start running pre-release tournaments for that product starting this Friday at midnight. And then we're going to do, for those that don't want to come get it at midnight, I don't blame you. Saturday at 1 p.m., we'll do another Pokemon tournament for Paradox Rift. So you don't have to play. You don't have to even know how to play. If you just want to get your hands on Pokemon Paradox Rift product, it's just the booster packs out of the build and battle kits until the product comes out. But you can just come and buy that and say, I'm going to forfeit the tournament and have a nice night. So that's what is on the shelves and what is hitting the shelves this week. Oh, and then
I was about to say, you can't forget about this. This is a cool product.
Yeah, it really is. I think I hit a home run with this product. So these are Grand Slam booster bundles. We call them mega booster bundles because it's like a regular booster bundle that Pokemon makes, but it's on steroids. We make these on our own. So we take 15 random sleeve booster packs and we put them in these custom boxes that we made. And well, I didn't make the boxes. I ordered the boxes. The box company made them, but I made sure to get blue ones and I put our sticker on them. So we just put those out on the shelf. I sold 4 today, and I haven't even really advertised them. And one of the kids opened his here in the shop, and I said, hey, every time you get a hit, put it onto the side. I'm going to take a picture afterwards and see how you do. And he got 6 or 7 hits out of one of these things. And so $40 is kind of a magic price. It's what the Elite Trainer boxes typically go for.
Yeah.
If you're just after opening Pokemon packs, come check this box out. We're going to have them in stock all the time because I ordered a whole bunch of those blue boxes. We got plenty of packs to fill them with. So you will not be disappointed. That is my Pokemon guarantee.
Fantastic. Hey, guys.
I sound like a salesman here with all this stuff.
Don't sleep on that Topps Pro Debut baseball. I think it's just because it's like Topps Heritage Minor League. The guys are in their minor league uniforms for this product. But I was telling Josh in the pregame, I saw that it was coming out. I reached deep into the archives of some boxes that I had in my closet and was looking through it and found a numbered Ellie Dela Cruz, a numbered Corbin Carroll. There are autographs in this product. Oh, yeah. It's one of those things. You just put it away, you forget about it, and then you go back a couple of years later and you see some of these guys in the major leagues. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, like I remember we had a kid interning for me like 4 years ago or something, and this obviously is not good now, the player he pulled, but his last day of interning for the summer, we gave him a Topps Pro Debut hobby box as his going away gift as he was going off to college. He opened it up, hit a Wander Franco auto out of it. At the time, that was the prospect that everyone was touting, yeah. And so like that was kind of the chaser in that product. So he was super stoked to hit that. Obviously, he sold it long before we've gotten to today's news. But those are the types of guys you can probably go back in that product and find all the future stars, all the big stars. If they're playing now, they probably have autographs in Pro Debut. So absolutely. You might have to just sit on it for a little bit. But
all right, let's jump behind the counter, Jacob. All right, it's time to jump behind the counter. We're going to cover a couple hobby news things, but the first one we're going to talk about is my Braves have been eliminated, along with the Dodgers, along with the darlings of the league, the Orioles. Josh, what are your thoughts about the fact that most of the teams that were going in as favorites have now been eliminated, and we're left with a bunch of really cool storylines, but they're all underdogs, good or bad for the hobby? What are your thoughts?
It's more bad for the hobby. You need Acuna and those guys having big, but the Diamondbacks are still in it, right?
The Diamondbacks are in.
I mean, so what if Corbin Carroll just tears it up the rest of the year, and that's good for the hobby.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like the Braves, the Orioles, I mean, like all the teams that had like that 5-day bye because of the wild card round.
Yep.
I believe all of them lost except Houston. And so I don't know if this is just a thing or the teams like Texas and Philly, and Arizona, they just got hot at the right time and they used that wild card round as like momentum to get deeper into the playoffs. But man, I was shocked but not surprised because Philly seems to have Atlanta's number right now. But I look at the Astros. Anytime the Astros go deep into the playoffs, I always think, well, it's not really good for the hobby just because they still have that stigma. But Texas and Arizona are just loaded with really cool rookies, and then you've got this veteran core with Trey Turner and Schwarber, your guy Schwarber, and Harper sort of anchoring Philly. But I think I have to agree with you. For the hobby, it would have been, man, I don't know about the Twins, but man, the Orioles getting to the finals would have been real sexy. I don't mind Arizona, but
I found the stat.
But Acuna getting to the World Series would have been great.
Yeah, so here was the stat I was looking for that goes along with this. The teams with the 5 best records in the regular season are 1-12 at this point in the postseason. So, yeah, this was before the Rays and Brewers. They were 0-2 at the time of this stat. So Orioles were out at 0-3. Braves were out. Oh man, this has them when they were 1-2. So yeah, but the 5 best records in all of MLB at that point where this stat came out were 1-12.
Yeah.
So to your point, yeah, Schwarber, those guys, it's one thing. Schwarber cards aren't going to do anything. Might be a little bump in Harper stuff because the hobby likes Harper a little bit. And so, but man, had the Orioles been able to do something,
yeah, it would have been crazy.
Who are you? If you had to, if you could choose who would win, who you picking? Not who you think would, or if you could choose who wins out of who's left.
For the hobby, it would be a Cinderella story if Corbin Carroll gets to the World Series and somehow is the MVP of the World Series. For the hobby, his stuff is crazy anyway, but that would be amazing. My heart is wanting the Phillies to win just because they knocked out my Braves. So I'm like, well, in my mind, if they win, if the Braves would have beat them, then they would have won the World Series. I'm dumb like that. So how about you?
You are dumb like that. But no, my answer is exactly the same as yours. I think it would be really cool to see Corbin Carroll and the Diamondbacks win, and I would really jack his stuff up and shine a spotlight on his rookie stuff, and kind of solidify him as kind of a nice chaser in the sport. But I'm a Schwarber guy, so I'd love to see Schwarber win a ring. And I have no love for Bryce Harper. I'm either way on him. I got nothing against him, but he's decent for the hobby for sure.
Yeah. And don't sleep on Trey Turner. He had a miserable season up until 2 months ago. The Phillies fans rallied around him, gave him some standing ovation, and it has like propelled him into the last 2 months of the year of the season, and he's continuing. He had a home run against the Braves. I mean, so I've always liked Trey Turner. It'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see him and Harper do the. Did he? I guess he was with. Does he have a championship with the Nationals? I think he does.
I think he does.
Yeah.
I don't have that stat, and it would take me an hour to find it. But there was a stat about his statistics after the standing ovation from the crowd. It was like night and day difference from before that, where he was struggling. So
bananas. The next thing I do want to bring up is, Josh, have you seen this first Stitch card that's coming out of Topps Chrome update?
I've only heard about it. So, and you're more knowledgeable on that part of this.
Jacob, can you throw that on the screen? So, introducing First Stitch cards. If you guys are watching this, then you can see there's a Trey Turner there. And then if you can you scroll? Does that allow you to swipe? Yeah, there you go. So this is the big rookies here, Anthony Volpe. And I don't know if this is the same thing as the MLB debut patch, but if it is, this is the now we get the equivalent to the true RPA that we see in like National Treasures or Flawless.
So they're saying these patches are from that player's first ever MLB jersey.
Guys in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I'm thinking this is.
Well, I mean, that top's stating it right there. The MLB authenticated patch contained in these cards is a piece of the player's first ever manufactured jersey.
Manufactured jersey. It's their manufactured jersey. It's not their first game worn jersey. I think that's a different thing.
What is a first ever manufactured jersey? The first ever jersey they made for that player? That's the way I read it.
That's the way I read it too. But that doesn't mean it's been game worn. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. That true RPA, that's game worn out of National Treasures and Flawless, correct? We'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But
yeah, but theirs doesn't say. So you're saying just because it's their first ever manufactured jersey doesn't mean it's game worn. Is that because the first jersey they made, they gave it to him and the dude rode the pine? Didn't get in the game?
I don't know. I think I'm getting confused with this and the MLB debut patch. Jacob, can you look that up real quick? MLB debut patch. I think I'm getting those confused. But anyway, this is apparently the chase, part of the chase in Topps Chrome update. That's usually a late November, December release. But yeah, that's part of that checklist. Super exciting, even though it may not be that MLB patch I'm talking about, but hopefully Jacob can find some more details behind that. Here we go. There we go. Let's see. Opening day. That's not going to be in Topps opening day. They're not making that anymore. Opening day. Every player making their major league debut will wear an MLB debut patch on the uniform. That patch will then be added to Topps trading cards, creating the ultimate rookie card. Wow. Well, there you go. So this is different. This is different.
That's different. And I would like to know what product those are going to be in. Because when I first heard that a long while back, how old is that, Jacob, that tweet? I feel like that was for like Topps Pro debut or for opening day product, right?
No, I would think that this right here is tailor-made for Topps Dynasty. Like a ultra high-end, ultra premium. That's why I was a little shocked, and apparently I was confused as well, that I thought this is what was coming out in Topps Chrome update, but it is not. The Topps Chrome update, that's a different patch. This was going to be, I think this is going to be one of their coming out of the high-end product, like debut. But either way, pretty cool having a baseball equivalent to an RPA that we see in basketball and football.
You know, if you took 10 minutes to do some research and read the checklist.
It's like I've never done a podcast episode.
You're wasting not only our time, but your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You'll never live that comment down.
All right. Let's move off to something that we even know less about than Topps products is the NBA. So, Jacob, if you could pull up the NBA odds to win the championship, it looks like the Nuggets are favored again, followed by the Celtics, the Bucks, the Suns, and wow, the Lakers, which is a little surprising to me. But
you know,
what are your thoughts on this?
am I a mark? Because I think the Bucks are going to be really hard to. You get Giannis, and then you add Lillard. You got inside, you got outside, you got. I mean, that's just the idea of it sounds hard to beat. But we all know that on paper, this game is not played on paper. How many teams have looked amazing on paper and just bombed? So, you know, with Luka, it was always that they just need that one more game changer on there, the Kyrie experiment, and that just goes to show you that there's so much needed when it comes to chemistry, and fit. But if that fits well, it's going to be hard to beat the Bucks, right? I would think. And
absolutely. I think it would be very ironical if the Suns win it after Chris Paul leaves them, and they end up putting things together and winning the championship. So
that's one of those where, like, if Chris Paul goes to the Warriors, it's just like, man, just one more strong piece. But is it maybe just gonna screw up the chemistry or something? I hope not. It would be cool.
Yeah, I think I'm picking I'm hoping. I'm not picking. I'm hoping that the Suns do it. I like Devin Booker. I like his style of play. And so hopefully they win.
And on a similar yet different note, Wemby supposedly is looking really good too, which is a good thing, good sign.
Where are scroll down? Where are the Spurs on here?
Probably not super far down. Oh wow, they are. Yeah, they are plus 2,000.
They are down 20,000. And if you go even further down, our local team,
ouch,
the Hornets.
Ouch.
So this is as of June 16th. So this has probably been shaken up a little bit.
Yeah, that probably has been shaken up a good bit, right? Because there's been some big moves. Isn't the Lillard move after that?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. So this list really serves very little purpose to us. Thank you. Everyone watching is going to be like, that list is way off now.
Yep. This is why we don't go to Talking Shop for NBA news.
Take 10 minutes and do some NBA research.
I did. I Googled. That was the first. I didn't scroll down any on the Google search, but I did Google that. I did.
Great.
I promise you.
Great googly moogly.
Jeez, let's put a pin in that segment and go to listener questions. Come on, let's do this.
Listener question. Michael's microphone
behind the counter.
Oh, there
got some listener questions. And before we bring these up, I have a question for you, Josh. And this is a cautionary tale on grading. Now, don't hate me, my friend. I do personal submissions straight to PSA. Are you
I already hate you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my membership lapsed October 1.
Good.
I sent my cards in the middle of September. I can't access my account.
Well, this is all the more reason to submit through Grand Slam grading.
Lesson learned. But do you know what? I mean, do I need to fire up another membership to be able to get my cards back? PSA, if you're listening.
No, if I had to guess, I would guess your cards will make their way through the system and come back to you just without you being able to access the information. That would be my guess, because they can't just keep your cards until you re-up, right? That's all you have to technically do is re-up.
Yeah, but I got you. Why do I need to re-up?
You're not wrong, and I wouldn't, but I would guess that would be the case. They'll work their way just through the system and make their way back to you. And
yeah, because I sent them in while I had a membership.
Right.
So they're in the system.
Yeah.
And they're like Lorcana cards. So I'm itching to get these.
You're going to hear me say it again. PSA is a horrible company and I hate them. But I send all my cards there because they're king. And as long as they're king and can fetch the best resale price for me, I'm going to continue to use them. But being a submitter, we see some of the crap that they do and the inconsistency and the horrible service. And they're only surviving because their cards outsell the competition by a lot. So
yes. All right.
maybe it won't be that way forever, but
we'll see if I get my Lorcana graded cards back. If I don't, I'm going to have you call them. Raise a stink.
I'll say, this is Josh. I don't even have to tell him the last name.
Don't you know who I am? All right. First question. Put that up there for us, Jacob, if you would. Hey guys, I'm new to collecting and I just inherited a bunch of cards from my grandparents. Congratulations. Should I get them graded or is it better to sell them as is for now?
Well, if your grandparents are 48 years old, throw all the cards away because they're going to be 90s cards. But chances are your grandparents aren't in their 40s. So, yeah. But the answer to that is the answer to everyone when they ask if they should sell their cards raw or sell their cards graded. It depends on the cards. Depends on the condition of the cards, how they sell. If they're grandparents, you start to think this could be some really good vintage stuff, then definitely grade. Yeah. Because even if that Mickey Mantle card has a crease down it, you still need it graded. It authenticates it and it tells people the exact price of what this card is. There's just no getting around. A Mickey Mantle PSA 3 sells for this all day, every day. A 4 brings this, a 2 brings this. If yours is a 3, it sells for this. There's not much haggling that needs to take place. So for vintage, that's my take on it. Bigger name vintage cards, you just grade them. And they're just easier to sell. And then, if it is 80s, 90s stuff, it's got to be in really good shape. People will look at a 90s insert card and see a 10 sold for $1,200. Yeah. Well, the 9 of that card sells for $40, or $100. It's a huge difference. So for this question, there's too many variables. You got to know what cards they are as a whole, but and you got to be careful who you ask, because if you ask a card shop, should I grade all these cards or should I just sell them as is? The card shop's going to say, sell them as is and sell them to us. Right. You're going to get more for them graded, but you're also going to invest a lot of money in grading them. So your thoughts?
Yeah, I think number one, congratulations. This is kind of cool. It's a way to connect with your grandparents, I think. For me, I would pull out the cards that, number one, mean something. Like if this was a thing between you and your grandparents, if there were games that you guys watched, if there were stories around some of the cards, pull those out. And as Josh said, if they're in decent shape, or even if they're not, they mean something to you, you want to keep them in great shape, grade them. But if you are like, I have zero connection to these cards, they're actually giving this to me so that I could sell them and monetize it. Yeah, bring them to a shop or a collection or a collector that you trust. Have them appraise them for you. And then,
or if you hated your grandparents, just sell them for dirt cheap to me out of spite. Just kidding. You can edit that out. No, I'm just kidding.
There's no way. There's no way I'm editing that out.
Or I was thinking you could burn the cards and mix the ashes with your grandparents' ashes and then put them up on the mantle.
That is something I might edit out. Next question.
I'll let you decide.
I've been in the game for a while now and have a bunch of lower end and mid-end cards. Any tips on how to transition to acquiring high-end cards without breaking the bank? Let me jump on this one first, and then you can give your take on this. For everybody out there wanting to get into the high end, this this may be the best time ever to possibly get into some high-end cards now. High-end cards of prospects, you may
Yeah.
want to take a beat. But high-end cards of like all-time greats and goats, if there's a card out there that you're wanting to consolidate these lower end cards and mid end cards and get a big bankroll going so that you can make a, a cash offer on a Hall of Famer autograph that you're going after, this may be the time to do it. I don't know. That's just my take.
Yeah, this definitely could be the time to do it, but that's not what they asked. They asked, how do I do it? Or is this a good way to do it? And I've got an idea because I saw this happen at the card show in Nashville that I was just at. The person I was set up with had boxes and boxes of low end and mid end cards, jersey cards, autos, numbered stuff. And he $10 and $20 and $8 his way to thousands of dollars at Nashville. And so it's tiring, but you're there for 2 days to sell cards. And so you just hunker down and do it. But the quick way to do it, someone came through and said, this 4-row box of jersey cards, I want to buy the whole thing. What would you sell it for? And he said, how about $1 a piece? And they counted it up, and it was 600 jersey cards and he said, $600 then you'll sell them all to me for $600. He said, yep, that's fine. And it was, some of it was Jorge Posada jersey card, and some of it was, Julio Rodriguez jersey card that not numbered or anything, so all of a sudden he's got $600. Now you go shop for some high end $700 graded rookie card and you trade your 600. You say, will you take 600 cash for it? I mean, there you just turned a box of $1 jersey cards into a high end $700 card. That's a thought. And I only say that because I watched that happen at the card show all day long. And
is that something you would ever do as a Tom Brady collector? Like sell all your collection to go after one huge Tom Brady card? Or do you enjoy having a lot of Tom Brady
enjoy
cards?
having the big collection of it. I would trade the entire collection for one large sum of money and keep that. But I mean, that's the goal one day, probably not anytime soon, but
right.
Yeah. When people sell me a Brady at a good price, because, yeah, Josh, I'll give you a good price on it because I know you're not going to flip it or sell it. I say, thank you. I mean, I am going to sell it one day. So I appreciate the deal. I don't want to be dishonest, but one day it'll all go. But yeah, I mean, but I would love to sell 600 of his low end cards for one nice $700 cash card for a nice, high end card of his. I would love to do that, but
interesting. All right.
Hopefully that helps. That's a good idea. I mean, it really does work. It takes some effort and it takes some work, but you're going to have to turn all those cards that'll take you forever to sell one at a time. You're going to have to go to a big show where the traffic is heavy and have them priced aggressively, or go shop them around to these dealers. They buy them at $1 a piece and then go auction them off and get $2, $3, $4, $1, 80 cents, $5. And they probably double or triple their money. It just takes a long time to do it.
Right.
So,
all right, last question. I'm looking at a card with minor damage, like a soft corner. How much should I adjust my offer for such condition issues when negotiating with the seller? I
mean, what does it hurt to lowball them? You lowball them and let them counter offer. That's what's going to happen. So,
okay, let's put some real numbers around this. Let's just say a raw card of X player sells for $50. And you find that raw card in his showcase. And you're like, Mr. Dealer, do you mind if I take a look at this? And you notice on the back, it's a soft corner, a little whitening. And he's got $50 on it because that's what that card trades for. You see the blemish. What do you say? Is it 50% off? Because this is my thought, right? If I'm looking to buy a $50 raw card, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that card has a chance to gem. And that's part of the $50 value to me. So, and if I see that soft corner, I'm like, normally I just walk away. I don't even make an offer. But on the dealer side of things, what do you do?
Card pricing is always one of the biggest factors in the price of a card is its condition.
Yeah.
So if a card is a PSA 8 and it sells for $50 and a PSA 9 is $100 and a PSA 10 is $300, the guy has it for $50 raw in the case, that's what it goes for raw. But if you look at that card and said, I'm going to send this card to get graded. If I were to get this card graded, it ain't an 8. I cannot pay raw 8 or PSA 8. So if it's a 6 or a 7 type of corner damage, then you're like, look, on a $50 card that grades a 6 or a 7, I'll give you $20 for it because that's as high as it's going to be. This corner's pretty smoked. If it's just a little white corner that would make that card an 8, then I think he's justified in his $50 price. And then you just wiggle a few bucks, $45, because it's, probably going to be an 8 if you grade it. Again, it all depends on what that dealer has into that card. That plays into it sometimes as well when you're negotiating. But if it's still pristine, like the card is immaculate and it's got one little white corner, the dealer could say, look, if you were to grade this, it's a 9 all day. And if you get some idiot grading it, maybe it's a 10, but it's probably a 9. Worst case, it's an 8. I got to stay firm at the 50. So there's some of that too. I've had dealers that'll say, look, well, here's what was funny. I had someone getting a card from me that I had 150 on at the show and said, would you do 110? I was like, I can't go that low. I was like, what about 140? That's a little bit of a discount. He's like, how about 120? Because I'm going to go put it on my table and get 130 for it. And I was like, well, when you get the guy that's ready to pay 130 for it, just send him over to my table. I'll sell it to him, and then we laughed. And it's like he was wanting to buy a $150 card for 110, put it at his table and sell it for 130.
Right.
Well, you're buying from a guy that's trying to do the exact same thing. So I'm like, let's meet in the middle, 120. You can make $10 on it. I get a guaranteed sale right now, and he has to hope he gets the 130 for it. But I thought, why don't you just find the guy that'll give you 130 and send him to me? And then instead of 110 or 120, I can get 130 for it. But
I don't know if that's how a win works, Josh. That's just a win.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look at the card. You got to get really good at deciding this is a 7 or below.
Right.
This corner is not only rough, but it's creased or something like that. And again, there's so many other factors. If it's Patrick Mahomes or if it's Ronald Acuna, tough luck, baby. $50 is the bottom. I don't care if the corner's dinged. Right. If you don't buy it now, in 10 minutes, someone else will buy it because that price is fair. So there's always that too.
Cool.
But go off of the card pricing grading scale to figure that price out. But do you think it's fair that you buy a raw card at PSA 8 price because PSA 8 sell for roughly raw? Well, you still got to send it and pay PSA to get it graded. So sometimes that's not always fair as well. Like, look, an 8 sells for 40, so I'll do 40 on it. Well, I've got a raw card now for 40, and I still got to invest $20 in getting it graded. So that factors into it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen raw cards sell more than a PSA 9.
Well, yeah,
Because there's
doesn't it
the
make
hope.
sense?
Because you're selling hope. You're selling the hope that it will gem.
Yeah, we've all got eyeballs. We can look at a card and say, I can't find a flaw on this card. I shouldn't be paying PSA 8 price or selling it for PSA 8 price. And you use that in a negotiation. Say, look, I've got it priced at like what a PSA 9 would be, but look at the card. You're probably going to get a 10 on it if you want to take the time to grade it. Yeah. I sold a Mike Trout update rookie at the show. That was really, he showed me his in a PSA slab that was an 8. And it was, I was like, you got lucky getting an 8 in this. It was not great. And mine was like, you get someone on the wrong day, you're getting a 10 on this one. At worst case, you're getting a 9. And so he paid stronger for it because he's like, I said, look, the good shaped raw ones bring 300. I want 310 for this one. You're going to be able to grade this thing and do well with it. And he really closely looked at it and said, I think you're right. I can't hardly find anything wrong with it. So that's a fair price. And so common sense and your own eyeballs come into play as well when you're trying to guess this stuff.
Awesome.
In my opinion. I'm wrong many times, so.
It's from the shop.
So.
From the vault or cards from the vault. Do you have anything juicy from the Nashville show, Josh?
No, but I did buy one Brady. I can show that off.
Yes.
I do have some hits from the shop. We can blow my screen up and I'll do the phone thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are ones that customers have sent me from today. So let me show this off first. I thought this was pretty cool. This is Adam Hames or Hams. I'm going to screw that up, but this is Adam. He came into the shop today. He's a professional disc golfer, and he had, hard to see in the picture, 2 of his own cards. He said they were produced by ProSet. I'll try to show off. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see on the screen, but one was numbered to, I couldn't tell, but this one here, he was proud of. It was a 1 of 1, and he was wanting magnetic cases to put these cards in. And so then he subtly brought up the fact they were his cards. And then I looked at them and I was like, oh, he said, yeah, I'm a professional disc golfer. I thought, well, that was really cool. And so,
that is cool.
Yeah. And he has a really artistically nice autograph. And I said, thank you for having a good autograph, by the way. So many of these guys don't put their pride into these cards at sea. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see them. But so that was cool. That came in today. I had a couple customers send me some Allen and Ginter hits. This is DMC from Run DMC.
That's cool.
So a customer hit that out of an Allen and Ginter box today. Also this one, the mini framed Anthony Volpe auto came from my customer. We have this card came out of an Allen and Ginter, not out of a rip card. He got the little stained glass rookie for there. And he did hit a rip card. It was the Goose Gossage, number 99 rip card. So I don't know what he's going to do with that one. You probably will know this. This is DiMaggio's mini framed autographed. Which DiMaggio is that? Do you know if that's like Joe DiMaggio's son or grandson?
No clue.
All right. Well, someone does out there, and they'll be able to tell us in the comments. Michael Harris. It's hard to see, but a Michael Harris framed mini auto. Here's another one. I'm going to sound like an idiot. He's wearing a American zip up, but the last name is Curley, Kerley. And I didn't get to see the backs of any of these, so sometimes I'm assuming he's a soccer player or something. An Adley Rutschman auto out of so there's a product called Leaf something. It's got a jersey. It's a big box. You get an autographed baseball jersey.
Yep.
And I was under conception. No. Edit this. I was under the impression that the box came with a jersey and a buyback card, but it comes with a jersey and a Leaf hobby box. And so you get the jersey in the hobby box, you might get something really cool in the hobby box. So his jersey was Juan Soto. I'm like, that's pretty sweet. And then it had a Leaf Valiant baseball box in it. And there was an Adley Rutschman auto in
that's
that.
cool. Now, was that jersey in that box autographed as well?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, I think we sell the boxes for $209. Yeah. You get an autographed baseball jersey. His other jersey, he bought two of them. Juan Marichal was the other jersey, and Juan Soto. So I'm like, that's a couple of nice Juans there. Customer saw me at the card show. Yes, in Nashville. Saw me at the card show and said, I bought a box of 23 Bowman Chrome U from your shop the other day, and this was one of the autos I hit out of it. It's not huge, but that's Travis Hunter, the Colorado Buffalo wide receiver. He's a stud, and but he had that card on him at the National, and I thought, well, that's really cool. So, I say all that to say I bought some lower end like numbered Brady cards, for like $40 for a little stack of them or whatever. This was the only one really nice one. It's an 08 Bowman Chrome refractor. And it was, I think those are numbered to like $299 or something, but just fell in love with that card. I love buying raw Brady cards of those older ones, especially if they're in good shape. So that was really, outside of sealed product for the shop, the only card I bought. And here's a little hint of kind of the size of that show just from one little shot there.
Oh yeah, it's a big show. Well, I have one card from the vault. I got this on eBay. It's a soccer card, so if you could just stay awake for the next 5 seconds, Josh. I know it's a soccer card, but this is a player. He's just a spark plug for Barcelona. His name's Gavi. He's one of those soccer players who just doesn't even have a last name, right? It's just Gavi. So, but this is just an insert. I can't remember what the year that's a throwback to, but I just love that gold lava out of the Topps Chrome product, and just with the blue and the gold, and then the gold on his uniform. Super sharp card. The back, I can't believe how well centered the card is on the front. It's just shocking how bad the centering in the back is, but the front's just perfect. So it's not going to gem, but I'm thinking about getting that grade. I just wish I knew a group submitter that would take that card and not make fun of my soccer cards.
Well, we'll gladly do it without any judgment on your cards.
All right, Josh, let's wrap things up with Crazy Stat of the Week. But before you get into that, if you've made it this far, thank you. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. Josh, take us out with a Crazy Stat of the Week.
My Crazy Stat is going to be, I'm going to say it to you in the form of a trivia question, let you make a couple guesses, and then we'll reveal it. So, who was the last quarterback drafted first overall to win a Super Bowl with the team that drafted him? So think of a quarterback that was drafted number 1 overall, ended up winning a Super Bowl with that team. And if you
Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think Aaron was first overall.
Was that Alex Smith then was drafted before Aaron Rodgers? I think Alex Smith went first. I don't first.
That's a not a bad guess. I'll give you credit.
Overall pick.
I'll hint. I'll give you a little.
Give me an era. Give me an era.
Before Aaron Rodgers, after like Steve Young era. I know Steve Young wasn't a number 1 pick, but like that era. So after Steve Young, before, how about this? I'll narrow it down. After Steve Young era and before Tom Brady era.
So in the 90s.
Or I could even be nicer and say not long before Brady.
Is that Jim McMahon?
He was in the 80s, bro.
Yeah.
Young was in the 90s.
Sorry. In the 2000s then.
So Brady was 2000. This would
Yeah.
be right before Brady era.
Can you give me a division?
AFC. Let me see if I can give it better.
Can you give me a team color?
White and blue? How about this hint? Famously large forehead. You'll kick yourself when you hear it. The people in the comments, if this were live, they'd be chewing you
roasting
up,
me.
spitting
Who?
you out. Peyton Manning.
Oh.
I know. I knew you'd have that reaction. So yeah, Peyton Manning was the last quarterback drafted first overall to win a Super Bowl with the team that drafted him. I mean, and that's not that crazy because a lot of the number one picks in the last decade have been pretty disappointing.
It just goes to show you that's a hard job, and it's even harder when you're running for your life. And usually number one quarterbacks are running for their lives.
Yeah, number one quarterbacks are going to the worst team in the league most often than not. And to take that team from worst to a Super Bowl within your career, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty notable. So,
all right, Josh. Well, any closing thoughts?
No, like I said, pencil in the 17th of November for card night. I'll make sure the gym is available. We'll make sure employees and families are available. Come see us this weekend for Pokemon if you're into that. And thanks for listening.
All right. Josh, thank you. Always good spending some time with you. Jacob, thank you for producing, and we'll see you guys next week.